Okay, here I am again. Here I am again. Bored, but I don't get tired of videotaping myself. I love myself that much. Yeah, I noticed as I get older, I look more like my mother. She's really pretty. um, so is my father. My father is a very handsome, very, very handsome man. My mother used to get jealous. I think my dad got jealous of her too. They were both good-looking people. But they would go out every weekend and come back home fighting. And I would hear her say, "Oh, your daddy's hurting me," out loud, you know. They would be fighting. Like, we'd have to go to school the next day sometimes, and she'll be yelling, "Your daddy's hurting me," and so we'd run to the kitchen to make sure he wasn't hurting her. We had a good daddy, but I guess he wasn't that good of a husband. So we would run to the kitchen, and he'd be sitting at one side of the table like this with a cigarette in his hand, just, he's all cool. Looking relaxed. And my mom's over there on the other side saying, "Your daddy's hurting me." She's all drunk, and he's drunk too, but he's all like calm. He looked like a Dean Martin type guy, very classy, He's real quiet. He's like, "Edna, why you wake up these kids like that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, Mom." My dad would be way on the other side of the table. And this was a regular thing they did on the weekends, or even sometimes on the weekdays, because I remember having to go to school the next day and she wouldn't stop crying. And usually their fights would be over some woman flirting with my dad, He's always had women flirting with him. I remember taking walks with them, and people would say as we're walking, the women would be sweeping their porch, and my father would be walking with us, and they'll say, "Good morning, Mr. Peak," and that would happen quite a bit, when we'd walk with my father, and it just seemed like, man, he grabbed a lot of women's attention. So I imagine when they went out, why am I telling you this? I do gotta get a life, huh? I had some good parents, though. My dad gave me a lot of attention. I miss them. But anyways, just as we had those nights, we had a lot of good times too. A big family full of love and laughter. We always had fun. Somebody was always doing something, and somebody was always fighting. Yeah, I'll leave it there. So I do look like my mom. A lot. I used to think I looked like my dad. I think my sister looks like my dad, and I look more like my mom. My mother looked like a little bit like Marilyn Monroe or Lucille Ball. Maybe Lucille Ball. She even acted like her a lot. My mother was cute. Oh, she was cute. Cute lady. Had a very, very good family. If I could have it over again, I think I'd go for the change, because I would want to see what it would be like to be with a different life. I used to say I wanted the same family over again. I would remember my brothers, James, my older brother. You know, he's like, there's David and there's James. James would always get his pee-pee caught in his zipper. So this was a regular thing. We'd hear, ah! But the pain was piercing, you know, because he'd get his pee-pee stuck in his zipper. And then I had another brother. He used to step up over me, and he was like always picking and fighting with me. His name was Dable. David. He died already. And yeah, I miss him. Anyways, he would pick on us. All of us kids would have to sit down with our hands on top of our head like this. Both hands up on top of our heads. We could not let them down. Well, my father would be reading a cowboy book. You know, we're like, Dad, can I let my hands down now? And he's like, no, keep your hands up there. And I mean, there's a lot of us. So we're kicking each other with our feet. And we're like, please, Dad, I'm tired. I promise I'll be good. And when one would get in trouble, we would all have to sit there with our hands on top of our head. I remember one night, one night I was, we were all jumping on the bed. There was like 5 or 6 of us jumping on the bed because the other ones were probably already getting married and out of the house. So we'd be jumping on the bed and we were missing a doorknob. And I remember my father saying, you guys better cool it in there, because when I come in there, you better, you know, stop making noise in there, because we're loud, all of us jumping. And stop jumping on the bed. If I go in there, I'm gonna spank you all. Right? So he said it, he says, okay, here I come, that's it. And I seen his shirt through where, you know, the doorknob was missing, and right away. I jumped, I laid down on the bed real quick, real straight, and my siblings are jumping. They're jumping around me, all around me, right? And it's like I'm pretending to be asleep. And they all got a spanking except for me. They're all saying, Jackie was jumping on the bed too, Dad. And he's like, no, she's asleep right there. I mean, how could you sleep, you know, when you got them jumping all around you? And there was my niece and, you know, my siblings. And it was just so funny because so much would happen while we're growing up. It was nice to have so many kids because, well, I guess it would be in a way and in a way not, because you can't really afford to go anywhere when you have 6 girls and 6 boys in your family, right? But you could have a lot of fun. You know, we always, like I said, the older ones were already out of the house by the time the last 3 of us came. But we had so much fun. Hooting nannies, and the phone's going to turn off on me, but that's okay. I'm recording all this anyway. Started off how cute my parents were. But I remember my mother putting my father's, he wouldn't come home because he would, after work, he would stop and have a beer somewhere in a bar probably. And I remember once she packed his bags and she put Florida. I could remember like yesterday, she put Florida on the front of the suitcase. You know, it's like one of those old-fashioned square suitcases. She puts Florida on it. And then she had put it outside. When he came home, she threw it out to him. And he was, I remember them shouting we lived upstairs and he was downstairs. She says, don't even bother coming up the stairs. There's your suitcase. She put Florida on it for him to go back to Florida, Jacksonville, Florida. But it's fun, and I don't know what made me do this. You guys have a good weekend and know that you're loved. I just shared a piece of my life with you, a very beautiful piece of my life. Have a nice weekend. Know that you're loved. God bless you. And all that you do.